Do you ever feel haunted by your past? Samuel, a retired mariner, is tormented by a choice he made during a terrible storm decades ago. But when his granddaughter asks him to teach her about the sea, he begins a journey toward forgiveness and healing. Discover how Samuel learns to navigate not just the ocean, but also the turbulent waters of his own past, and find peace in the present. Samuel lived in a cozy coastal cottage, filled with maps and old sea charts. Each flutter of the paper and gust of wind reminded him of the tempestuous storm from his youth, a storm he could never truly escape. It clung to him like the salt to the sea. The relentless ocean roared outside Samuel's window, echoing the turmoil within his heart. 40 years ago, a terrible storm had changed everything. He had made a choice that he had regretted ever since. Day after day, Samuel would trace the path of that fateful journey on his maps. He hoped that if he could identify exactly where he went wrong, he might somehow undo the past. It was a fool's errand. Samuel's life had become a stagnant harbor of regret. Once he had sailed to exotic lands and explored uncharted waters. Now he was anchored to the shores of yesterday. The sparkle had faded from Samuel's eyes, replaced by a permanent shadow of remorse. He no longer spoke of his adventures except in hushed, remorseful tones. One gray morning, Lily, Samuel's granddaughter, arrived at the cottage. Her eyes shone with youthful curiosity and eagerness, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. "Eager, Grandpa?" Lily asked, her voice full of hope. "Will you teach me how to navigate by the stars? I want to learn the secrets of the sea, just like you." Samuel hesitated. The storm, the mistake, the moment he had tried so hard to bury resurfaced in his mind. He felt the familiar pangs of guilt. But looking at Lily's bright eyes, filled with wonder and hope, something shifted within Samuel. A flicker of warmth ignited in his heart. Carefully, Samuel retrieved his old sextant and worn charts from a dusty cabinet. They were tools of adventure, symbols of a life he thought he had lost. "It's not just about storms or dangers," Samuel began, a slight smile breaking through years of gloom. "It's about the beauty, too, Lily. Wonder. Thousands of nights, with stars so clear you feel like you could touch them," Samuel continued, his voice filled with a newfound wonder. "Sunrises that paint the sky in colors you never thought possible," Samuel shared, his eyes reflecting the vibrant hues of past dawns. "And the friends you make along the way, sharing both laughter and hard work," he added, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. Samuel told his stories. He realized he had been clinging to only a fragment of his life. The one storm, ignoring the vast, beautiful ocean of his experiences. He saw his past not as a single mistake, but as a collection of lessons and memories that had shaped him, weathered him, and ultimately made him who he was. The reckless young captain had grown into a wiser, more cautious man because of everything he had endured. He was finally starting to accept it. That night, under a blanket of stars, Samuel took out the chart of the fateful voyage. He remembered the fear and the loss, but also his will to survive. Carefully, he rolled the chart up and placed it in a sea chest alongside his other logs. It was one journey among many, not the whole story. Samuel wasn't trying to erase the past. He was simply giving it the place it deserved. One chapter in a long and storied life. Samuel had finally made peace with his past, not by changing what had happened, but by changing how he saw it. He felt lighter, freer. And with that peace came a new beginning, a chance to embrace the future without the burden of yesterday's regrets. The sea was no longer a place of regret, but a vast horizon of possibility, waiting to be explored, learned from, and loved. Samuel spent his days teaching Lily about the stars, the tides, and the language of the sea, passing on his knowledge and wisdom. With each lesson, Samuel felt his own spirit renewed, finding purpose in sharing his passion with the next generation. Samuel and Lily often sailed together, exploring hidden coves and watching dolphins leap and play in the waves. He found himself telling stories of his past voyages, not with remorse, but with a sense of adventure and nostalgia. Samuel realized that forgiveness wasn't just about letting go of the past, but about embracing the present and building a brighter future. And so, Samuel, the mariner who had once been lost in a sea of regret, finally found his way back to the harbor of peace and happiness. The storm had passed, the horizon was clear, and Samuel's heart was finally at rest.